Hey, welcome or welcome back to the stash. Now, I'm sure you all know that the current volume of The Amazing Spider-Man has been nothing short of a disaster, with the only positive being with each passing issue we get closer to the eventual salvation for the day Zeb Wells finally leaves this book. And so join us today as we continue this journey, this painful journey I should say, by taking a look at the latest installment, The Amazing Spider-Man issue 47. But before we get into that, I just wanted to thank you all again for the recent support on the channel. It feels like only yesterday when we reached 1,000 subscribers, but now we've already passed 1,300 and it's still processing in my mind, and I can't thank you all enough for it. And if you are new around here and like Spidey or just comic content in general, feel free to stick around and maybe hit that subscribe button. We are trying to hit 1,400 subscribers by the end of this month, and I know it's a huge ask, but with your help, I know we can do it. We also have a channel membership for a very small price. You get a bunch of cool perks as well, but that's just there if you, I guess, you want to support the channel in that extra way possible. But yeah, I think that's enough self-promotion. It's time to get back into the video. So just in case you've missed the previous uploads, lucky for you, there is a playlist. I'll go over a quick recap. Peter's life is a mess, but he's trying to clean it up. He recently teamed up with the abomination that is known as JACKPOT, aka his ex-girlfriend, aka Mary Jane Watson. They freed her Aunt Anna from Ravencroft Institute, but that still leaves the mess with Betty Brant and her wrongly imprisoned husband, Ned Leeds. Perhaps the biggest mess involves his wayward clone, Ben Reilly, aka CHASM. Or is it CHASM? I don't really know. Who recently broke out of the Limbo Embassy where he was being imprisoned for trying to take over New York with the help of a demon army and his girlfriend, HALLOWS EVE. Now our story begins with a very intense interrogation scene. It's obvious that this crazed butcherer is just HALLOWS EVE in disguise, especially considering she's after Madeline Pryor, who she believes has Ben Reilly captured. Right before she's able to begin mutilating this poor man, Ben Reilly still has CHASM, which hurts me and a lot of other Ben Reilly fans, comes out of nowhere and stops Janine when she claims that she wasn't actually gonna hurt him.
Right.
After their little reunion, Ben explains that he's found someone who can finally help fix him, but we have to wait a little bit longer to find out their identity because we now switch scenes to our depressing hero Peter Parker. He's on the phone with his ex Mary Jane and oh my, not again. Not... Paul? There seems to have been a bit of miscommunication between the two because Aunt Anna set something up without telling Mary Jane, however Peter was under the impression that she did. Now if you remember the nurse from the previous issues that was helping Aunt Anna during her stay at Ravencroft, she and Peter, just like the early days of ASM, have been set up on a date by Miss Watson. I guess since Anna thinks it's MJ's fault they broke up, this is her way of trying to make things better. I don't really care what's going on here. Everyone knows my sort of stance on this. I prefer Mary Jane any day of the week. Even Black Cat. I mean, seriously. It's obviously that this is just going to lead to nowhere and it's just another shitty attempt to try and give us hope of a Pete and MJ reconnection, since she did sound a little bit jealous on the phone when she realized what was going on. But besides that, also, like, is this really what Marvel editorial wanted? They thought MJ being with Peter limited stories too much, so they think an awkward date with a random girl is going to be better?
Not a great plan.
Now, as this is a Zeb Wells Spider-Man story, it's only necessary that Peter gets put down and made fun of at least once in every issue. This time, however, it's coming from Pete himself. He claims he's never been fantastic at this stuff, and lately he's just felt especially incompetent.
Shut the fuck.
Now, Zeb Wells being self-aware here, it just makes me so angry and just makes everything else so much worse. He knows how badly he's writing Peter out of character. And is there like any reason for this besides his divorce? Like, I can't think of anything else. Even him saying he's never been good at this stuff, it's just wrong. He must be doing something right if he's either been with or been the crush of Liz Allen, Betty Brant, Mary Jane, Gwen Stacy, and Jill Stacy, Sissy Ironwood, Deborah Whitman, Felicia Hardy, Jean DeWolf, Michelle Gonzalez, Carly Cooper, Silver Sable, Anne Marie on a technicality, Cindy Moon, Leon Tang, and Mockingbird. There's probably more that I missed.
It'd be funny if it weren't so pathetic. No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.
Now the date is seemingly going well until that typical Parker luck just comes into play. He starts getting a ton of messages from Betty Brant where she just tells him that she desperately needs Spider-Man's help. Pete has to ditch the date, leaving her to pay the bill for both of them. Once again showing that the Ultimate Peter is just way better than the 616 in every way, because this was just a shitty thing to do to her. Like, come on.
He does exactly what I do, but better.
One cool swinging pose later, and Pete bursts through the window by webbing one of the goons' face and using him to pull through. He quickly shoots another web attaching to the other guy and stomps on the line, forcing him to slam against the wooden floor. There's one man left who has Betty as hostage. He shoots another web line, flinging him close as he delivers a jaw-breaking blow. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the first time in this series where Spider-Man has not been incompetent, and he takes down a group of people with ease.
So good.
I can't believe it. He finally did it. It took him 47 issues, and he finally showed that this is a mature adult Spider-Man who can handle his own. We finally got there. After checking if Betty's hurt, she explains that she's found the one thing that can prove her husband's innocence, the Winkler device. Now, if there's one character who deserves some closure and some peace in her life, I believe it's Betty Brant. She's been through a lot, and I mean just a lot of shit during her time in these stories. Whether it was just from being abused by Ned Leeds to being a single mother after Ned was brainwashed again into being the Hobgoblin, and even at some points in her stories, it felt like she broke, and I remember like reading the issues, and I genuinely thought that she had gone insane. So it'd be nice if maybe they could end this arc with her getting some closure, and maybe just having a bit of a break, I think, from just things in general. But we then switch scenes to Oscorp, but we have the return! We have the return of the two morons from before! Let's just hope this idiot showing stupid Carl his new e-bike doesn't, I don't know, awake the living brain? Well, it turns out that their device is now infected with the living brain, and it gets taken away from them. Moron number 2 asks Moron number 1 if he's going to tell Connors about the incident, and of course he won't. I mean, wouldn't the guy that just took your tablet tell Connors himself? I mean, it's a pretty serious security scare. Are they just gonna seriously let them off with a warning? Back to Spidey and Betty now. She showed Pete where the device is, but they're interrupted by none other than CHASM and Hallows Eve. We also find out the identity of the mysterious person that's now helping Ben Reilly and Janine, and it is the Queen Goblin. We've sort of got this trinity, this holy trinity of butchered characters by Zeb Wells in his Amazing Spider-Man. As a fan of all of them before Zeb Wells touched them, I'm just so disheartened that he's going to have another attempt now just to further just dig their grave, put them in, bury them, and then start jumping and dancing on top of their graves. This is what it feels like he's just doing. He's taken each character that we liked, ruined them to the point where you can't even recognize them from when they used to be. But one thing I do like is how this last panel perfectly just sort of captures each new release of this horrible comic book. Betty Brant asks, "Is it as bad as it looks?" And Peter simply replies with, "If history is a guide, it's even worse." And that is the end of the Amazing Spider-Man issue 47. Thank God that is over. I'm honestly just really sick and tired of what they've done with poor Ben Reilly and Janine. And the thing is, with Ben Reilly, has Peter ever said that he wouldn't share his memories with him? Because what I remember was him saying that he wasn't going to stick his head inside that dodgy device built by the evil corporation that Ben was in the process of trying to force over his head. Which is honestly, to me, a pretty, reasonable and standard reaction. I just don't really understand why Marvel is so happy with just ruining Ben's life. Turning him from a hero everyone loved into this annoying and borderline boring villain. If they needed a villain to mess up Spidey's life, we still have his third clone, Spider-Side, who is completely crazy and evil all round. Ever since Marvel sort of just decided they didn't want Ben Reilly anymore, the way they've treated him is just so horrible. From Green Goblin killing him to him coming back seemingly good and then, not being good, him being the Jackal at one point, this whole CHASM thing, what are you doing to this poor man? Not only that, it doesn't even look like it's going to get any better, because I'm pretty sure the next story after this, when they go back to the Sinister Six, is like Peter becoming the Green Goblin again? Something like that. Maybe if Norman, I don't really know. It's just the cover looks horrible. It's got Spider-Man with a Green Goblin mask and a purple color scheme on the Goblin glider with the Sinister Six in the background. They did the Goblin Spider-Man storyline not even 6 months earlier. They're already going back to something like that. That is pathetic. That is horrible. What? How are these people in charge. I have no idea whatsoever. The way this comic book is run, the way they treat their fans, the stories they come up with, the way they treat their characters, it's all unacceptable and shouldn't even be near a company like Marvel, who's as prestige as they are. This comic is just another pathetic entry in the Amazing Spider-Man title, and I for one can't wait to see it lying on the shelves untouched for the next 6 months. But that is going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, because here, any support means so much. I'd love to hear what you guys thought of this issue down below in the comment section. We can start a conversation. And yeah, be sure to join us next time. Same web time, same web channel. Thank you guys again for watching, and see you in the next one.